Hey, you precast junkies, welcome back to Precast Chalk Talk. I'm Hagen, and I'm in the maintenance department. I've got Hunter again, and Jamie. Jamie's putting on some brand new gloves because we're going to be looking at some equipment that makes our hollowcore product. And if you recall, as you are a junkie, I know, on Precast, we had an episode where we were with Jamie and Hunter, and we were doing a rebuild of the extruder and the lower part of the extruder. If you recall, there's two parts. You can kind of see the big guy behind Hunter here. The green part up on top, that's the power unit and where the concrete comes in from the batch plant. But the lower part we call the nozzle. The nozzle unit, the gray part, determines the height of the hollowcore element. So after we do a rebuild, because we didn't have enough time, we are coming back to look at what the next steps are. So you build it, or you rebuild it, then what? Right,
get to run through it and make sure everything's spinning and turning and shaking the right way.
Fantastic. So we get to do that today.
Correct. First step would be, first step would be to supply power.
All right. So Jamie's plugging in the power supply. You can see he's got special gloves on for that. What kind of gloves are those, Jamie?
They're rubber with leather on the outside.
Okay. And that's because we're dealing with some pretty high voltage.
480 volt.
Power comes in through the power cord, goes through this transfer box because the cord has to roll up as it's going down the bed.
Okay, yeah.
You need a way to transfer the power that's moving around in circles into a solid state. So it runs power from the power cord that's spinning into this box where there's a commutator that spins and transfers the power to something that is solid. And it goes from this commutator to these big motors back here, which turn all of the gearboxes, which gives us the power to use in other ways.
Gotcha. So we're powered up, gearbox, motor, controls.
All we gotta do is turn the brain box on.
Brain box, all right, let's do that. Wow. Some cool, we got some.
Yep, it'll tell us our RPMs, our speeds,
see.
our temperatures. There's a bunch of different gauges in here for all sorts of different functions.
Very cool.
And if we go to the service page, it'll on-off button with fake electronic toggle switches that you can turn each individual motor and motion on individually.
Okay. So the test process, besides getting her powered up, you're gonna run through
each one of these and make sure they're doing the job correctly.
Gotcha. All right, we're underneath the extruder. So what we're looking at is the back side of the extruder. Actually, the extruder is moving. Oh no, they're moving that way.
They move that direction, right?
And what's happening is the screws that we're going to run now are pushing the concrete. It's actually pushing itself, the machine, off of the concrete.
Right.
So it's pushing it
while
this
it's
way.
forming it.
And the concrete's coming past this. So this is the following tube.
Correct.
And that thing likes to kind of do this thing.
Yep.
A little shimmy.
Shakes and shimmies in order to make the hollow thing that you see in the hollow
Because
core.
that's the hollow. That's what's creating the hollow core.
Yep.
Okay.
Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can see the screws turning.
Yep. You can see how they're shimmying a little bit.
So from a maintenance standpoint, what are you looking for here?
So there's a couple things. We want to make sure they're rotating the correct direction, so they're pushing the concrete this way. And then they're also kind of wiggling up here.
Yeah, it's kind of doing this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's wild. So that's that big long brass rod that comes through.
Yeah, that we showed over there.
So does that mean that the bearing is like this oblong, weird kind of shape?
It's part of just having that many different components that all fit tightly together. You're going to end up having a little bit of wobble in there.
So we got the screws moving the concrete. The concrete comes, we call it zero slump concrete, which means it's very limited amount of water. But the zero slump,
it's more like clay.
Yeah, it's like clay.
Almost.
So there's enough water in there that allows us to hydrate the cement, the powder, but that's what makes this extrusion thing work. So we're taking and we're kind of crushing and really kind of molding that concrete around. That's the augering process. And now we're also talking about compaction, which adds, it's not vibration.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a bunch of different movements, forward, backwards, side to side.
And we're going to see some of that now.
So you've got movement on the side plates that go back and forth. as well with the middle plate there. And all of the tubes are also moving with the same motion forward and backward to help form the concrete that's coming down the machine into the shape that we need.
What are you looking for here from a maintenance standpoint?
That both the side plates are moving in somewhat unison, that this one's moving. There's no loss of movement between the bearings and the arms that come down there.
Okay, so that's compaction.
Yep.
Then we're going to hit the leveling beam. What's the purpose of the leveling beam?
So the leveling beam, it's all about forming the concrete. But what the leveling beam does is it moves in a motion. It comes out, up, and away from the product, comes back down, correct? And what that does is creates a smooth finish on the top and also helps to form the concrete. It's part of the compaction. It's pushing it down into the rest of it to form this shape.
Okay, hit it, Jamie.
See it up there?
Well, thank you both for your time. If you're looking for a job, want to be on maintenance team, hey, bring it.
Most definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a fun job.
It is.
Because every day is different.
Yep. And you can never get bored.
There's always something that's just totally unique.
Yep.
And then I walk in and we really mix it up. Yeah.
It's always fun when you're around.
Jamie, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you.
All right. Until
good to
next
see you.
time, everyone. Peace. Be well.